This project spent some unexpected time in limbo. Unfortunately, my father-in-law passed away during production. And like most things involving ritual, gathering, and family, life asked for my attention elsewhere for a while. But returning to this edit now feels a little different, but perhaps more meaningful too. On with our video. I know what you're thinking. And no, this is not a Real Housewives recap. But if you ever seen a housewife unravel over a dice game, you'll understand why this project required aggressive durability.
Bravo.
Let me explain. Back in California, I was part of a monthly game of Bunco with an amazing group of women. No matter where we were in our lives, what was going on with our families, careers, or obligations, we all look forward to communion over dice and much wine. I appreciate my friendship with these ladies, especially with the organizers. So much that I felt they needed an upgrade when it came to carrying all their Bunco game accoutrements. At the same time, perhaps I'm healing a hole where my social feedback loop used to be. I'm physically not near my friends, but my social soul still resembles the life I left behind. Essentially, to me, objects aren't just things. They are containers for energy and community. First off, what is Bunco?
I have no idea what Bunco is, but I do know that it's a game that old people play in Mississippi.
It's a social dice game, typically played with 12 players, divided into tables of 4. The game unfolds over 6 rounds. In each round, players roll 3 dice and try to land as many of the designated round number as possible. So in round 1, you're aiming for 1s, in round 2, you're aiming for 2s, and so on. 3, the target number in a single roll, earns you a Bunco, the highest scoring moment of that round. Before Bunco entered our modern living rooms for social gatherings, we must first address its very checkered past. As the game spread across the United States in the late 19th century, Bunco parlors became synonymous with gambling, fraud, and confidence schemes. So much so that major cities like Chicago, New York, and San Francisco formed specialized Bunco squads, police units dedicated to chasing down swindlers and organized crime tied to the game. The game's reputation was notorious in the 19th century, that it was reported that the legendary Hungry Joe Louis, a master of the Bunco swindle, actually targeted Oscar Wilde during the writer's American tour. Wilde, ever the wit, supposedly found the encounter so charmingly absurd that he later quipped about the exquisite nature of being conned by such a professional. It's a reminder that before Bunco was a suburban staple, it was a game of high stakes and even higher confidence. By the mid-20th century, shifting laws, the end of Prohibition, and the upheaval of multiple wars pushed Bunco out of the spotlight, and the game faded from public consciousness. Then, in the 80s, something curious happened. Bunco shed its criminal reputation and reemerged, not in back rooms, but in suburban living rooms. The cards were dropped and the dice remained. It became a low-stakes, high-laughter ritual, often organized by people, especially women, seeking community, routine, and a reason to gather. Today, Bunco is fully institutionalized, complete with associations, tournaments, and even televised championships. A game once tied to swindlers now funds charity raffles. It was a game that thrived on confidence and spectacle and now thrives on continuity. The stakes have changed, the room has changed, and the purpose has changed. But the ritual remained. And a ritual deserves structure. That's where this bag begins. Sketchbooks keep your concept in mind so you're not strained. It keeps you focused. When somebody wants to know how you came up with concepts, you're able to go to your sketchbook. I still maintain my sketchbook technique, not all the time, but it is kind of relaxing. It's I still find it, cathartic, right? So I'm looking at different bags, different features, different styles, different functions, and seeing how I can apply that to my friend's Bunco Bag. The Bunco Bag's for everybody, but she's one of the main organizers. And so she and another really good friend, these girls are like my sisters, so I love them so much, and it breaks my heart. I can't see them like as often as I used to. You just never know when you're going to be picked up and and taken across the country, right? So when we get a chance to see each other, it's always very special. And these girls made motherhood more tolerable, and they really celebrate who I am, right? Right? I'm rambling. The women are talking. Some of you know about my misogynist man that comes out, tells me to shut up. The women are talking. Don't let them talk. Don't let them talk. So I jokingly act like I'm appeasing him from time to time. So this is the Bunco Bag in papered pattern form. It's pretty sizable, but I think the major difference is that it's much taller than the previous bag the ladies would use. I'm pretty confident about the more rudimentary parts of the bag. The only thing that's new is like doing more like the industrial hardware aspects. You can't just operate from fear, right? The fear is there, that's just fine, but it's not going to be my tool. So I had to try new things. I had to challenge myself, and I have faith that it will turn out. I'm going to be the biggest critic of this project anyway. I like the dimensions. Like I said, it's fairly sizable. I think they'll appreciate that I'm making this more luggage format on wheels, so they're not lugging and throwing it over their shoulders. I have my luggage wheel placements here. This is going to be the center for the telescopic handle. It's just, it's something different. So sometimes when I try something new, I'm excited, but I'm nervous because it's going to impact other people. If it's just for me, it's like, whatever, I tried a thing, it didn't work. I want it to be functional. I want it to be something that they'll like. So I redrafted my Bunco Bag and created some new pattern pieces. And you see it in this form. This is your initial draft, and then you create pattern pieces off the draft. So this would be the pattern piece for the bag face. This is a pattern piece for our box pocket. These are kind of hard to see, these demarcations here. They're marked out, they're lined out because they're actually going to be in a different material than from our main fabric, which is going to be the Cadora. But I have some pleather accent that I want to use at the bottom and at the top. This here, I need to fill this in. This is actually, should be labeled the open face zipper. So that's our draft. This is the box pocket pattern. This is the top, this is the bottom. It has a exposed zipper. This is another boxed pocket for the side panels, top, bottom. Here's our side panel. And I'm going to cut two of them. This is our center bottom. This is where I would connect the other piece. And I would sew it around the sides of the faces. Here's our pattern. So it looks the same. I still kind of just drew in the pockets for reference. This is our lid. This will close up the bag on the top. You guys see that? Can y'all see it? Anyways, this is what I'm going to work on next. This is my stabilizer pattern. Before I was working with various types of materials that will keep the stiffness. So we want it stiff, we want it sturdy, and we want it durable. We want it to last.
That's what she said.
And all the jazz. I did my Spotify year-end review for 2025, and it said my Spotify age was, drumroll, 84. What? Now, yes, I like standards, and my dance teacher, especially my tap teacher, exposed me to a lot of big band and hit parade music, like ragtime. Like somebody starts playing like an early ragtime riff, and I'll know it like right off. I'm like, oh, 12th Street Rag, I know that song. You know, I'm just and I like them songs still, okay? That makes me 84 in Spotify years, and so bees it. I'm just going to accept. I'm just going to accept it. Like, fine, then. As the concept moved from sketchbook to structure, the first thing I needed was a solid foundation. For this build, I used plywood as the base and hardboard for the back panel. This is the mechanical core of the bag, where the wheels mount and where the telescopic handle will eventually lock into place. Everything builds on top of this foundation, kind of like the skeletal frame. So I went ahead and I added maxi piping bias, and this is just for prototypes. This will not be the color I use. I use it on the front of the bag. Here's the back of our bag. It looks like I spilt water all over it, which I did from iron over steaming, but that's okay. Anyways, I'm going to attach the side panel to the front and back side faces of the bag. Okay, it's coming along. I mean, I did this in the muslin fabric, so the shaping's gonna look not so appealing, but concept-wise, it's doing what it needs to be doing. The piping turned out very clean. On to configuring the rest of this bag. I put the Bunco Babes label on the back, the acronym, and it's a little wider than I measured. I don't really feel like making a new label, so, but I think this is just gonna have to do. I'm just gonna leave it. This is the lid. I've already attached the zipper part to just the lid. Whoa. And I format it in a two-way head-to-head closure. So you can open it from either end. I've worked with a lot of zippers in the past, so it doesn't intimidate me to purchase zippers on the roll and attach the heads on myself manually. Anyways, it's a preference of mine when I'm working with things. I have more control on how much of the zipper I want to apply. So here you can customize the length of your zipper when you buy it on the roll. Where's my metal ruler? Get it together. Get it together. Oh, here it is. 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. I'll make one more for good measure. I honestly don't remember how many envelopes in a Bunco game. I know it's most. What is it? Alexa, how's the pot divvied at the end of a Bunco game?
Not sure about a pot ditty in bungalow games.
Not a pot ditty.
Sounds like a fun made-up term, though.
Alexa, stop. A pot ditty? Alexa, in the game of Bunco, how is the pot divided at the end?
In Bunco, the pot is typically divided based on the number of wins and losses at the end of the game. The overall winner is decided by the number of wins, while the overall loser is determined by the number of losses.
Can you list the winners?
What would you like me to list?
List like most wins, most loss, most buncos, most like that. Can you list that?
In Bunco, the pot is divided based on several categories. The player with the most wins gets the largest share, typically half the pot. The player with the most losses gets a smaller portion, often a quarter. Additional prizes may be awarded for most buncos rolled and other achievements.
Thanks.
You're welcome. Happy to help with your Bunco game.
I'm gonna go look this up. It's been a while since I played. What do you think that is? Diddy pot? That's crazy. Diddy pot. I think we did most buncos, most minis, most wins, most losses. I don't know about this travel person. Last person holding. Oh, last person to hold. Last one holding. Did you do all that? Did y'all do that? I don't remember. Okay, I'm gonna go with 5 envelopes. Here's your insert window. You can put your label here. Change it out. And we're finished. And we're nearing the finish. As I'm working working with this. Like I said, there's so many things I would do differently, but I am satisfied with the turnout of the bag. It is more of a prototype, but it will go to my friend in California. That there's definitely things I would do different if I were to replicate this or do some variation of this bag again. But I'm happy. It's fun. It was something new. I've never done bags in this capacity before. Like I've done bags, but not like kind of like a luggage bag where you're working with hardware and wheels, you know, and like kind of industrial elements. So it's fun learning how to do these kind of things. Some of these women are part of my chosen family. While I prepare mailing this bag back to California, I consider it a way of sending a piece of my soul back to my old ecosystem. At the same time, I'm kind of proving to myself that my community still exists, even if they are physically in a different zip code.